water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony, but all that changed, well, yeah, you already heard the story. Hi you, King here, and this is a video about the secret fifth nation in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I'm not talking about the pirating nation that fell around Kyoshi's era. I'm talking about a secret nation that has their own unique bending that is both is and is not connected to the four already established elements. So what could that secret fifth element be? Well, first you have the waterbenders, who bend water, the element of change. Then you have the earthbenders, who bend earth, the element of sustenance. Next you have the firebenders, who bend fire, the element of power. And finally you have the airbenders, who bend air, the element of freedom. But just like in real life, there was a fifth addition to these four classics. One of which, in the Avatar world, is vital for a bender's existence. We find out that originally there were no human benders naturally, that they were given, or rather unlocked, the ability to bend the elements through the lion turtles. The world's biggest and oldest animals, they might have also been the wisest as they could telepathically speak to people, but also, most importantly, energy bend. Revealing that before people bent the elements, they bent the energy within themselves, life energy. This would later be known as, or rather be connected with, the idea of chi flow. Through changing the flow of chi within a person, a lion turtle was able to either unlock the power of bending within a person or permanently seal it. And it also seemed that the lion turtles were capable of unlocking the power of bending within themselves as well, which, depending on the lion turtles, unlocked one out of the four elements, which they granted to groups of humans, which led to the development and formation of the four nations. And the Avatar exists mainly because of this power the lion turtles have. As Wan, the very first Avatar, was granted the four elements by the four different types of lion turtles, which had never been done before but was made possible through the Avatar spirit holding them for him. And then later becoming the type of being that can bend the four elements even through his reincarnations through harmonic convergence. But even the Avatar for the longest time didn't even know about this secret fifth element or the secret fifth nation connected to it. And for those watching just begging for me to just say what this secret fifth element is, it's the element that changed everything, that changed the game in Avatar. To bend the elements, you must first bend the energy within yourself. And to unlock and seal someone's bending, you must bend the energy within them. The secret fifth element, the element of life, is energy bending. The very first energy benders in the Avatar world were the lion turtles, then they passed the power and knowledge of how to do so to the Avatar. And it was only then the Avatar was fully complete, as they now held all five elements: water, fire, earth, air, and energy, the element that started it all. And that's right, I'm saying there exists an entire nation worth of energy benders, but they're hidden, which is why we haven't seen or heard of them. The energy colony, as I like to call them. But where has this energy colony been this entire time? How have they not been sucked into all of the wars and chaos brought throughout history of the Avatar world? Valid question, and I'll give you the answer. They exist in the one place their energy bending would be the most effective. The one place that they can live to avoid all the drama that occurs with coexisting with the four other nations. And that place is the spirit world. As we know, the Avatar is the bridge between two worlds, the real world and the spirit world. And the spirit world is where all the spirits in Avatar come from, whether it's Rava, the spirit of light and order, Wan Xing Tong, the spirit that knows 10,000 things, Lu and Ta, the spirit of the moon and sea, or Ko, the face-stealing spirit. Normally, humans, let alone benders, cannot live in the spirit world. Especially because benders lose their bending in the spirit world, and humans overall, if they show negative emotions, may turn the spirits into dark spirits, having them attack them. But through energy bending, you can change spirit energy, manipulate it however you want, as long as your own will is strong enough and unbendable. So through energy bending, it would make sense that you could bend a dark, hostile spirit into a light, docile one, allowing you to coexist with them in the spirit world. And I theorize that the same lion turtle that granted the power of energy bending to Aang would have done the same with a large group of humans. And for whatever reason, these humans would have hated living in the human world and realized through energy bending that they could bend spirits, so they would have opted to live in the spirit world instead. And with making their way over there, they would have established a domain, a territory, a nation of their own, filled with energy benders and non-energy benders, but only people that were in tune with spirits, allowing them to not just live with the spirits without the fear of creating dark spirits that would attack them, but to also keep themselves secluded enough that even if humans were to pass into the spirit world, they would have an extremely hard time finding their colony. And I truly believe this idea of a secret fifth nation will be one of the things the creators of the Avatar brand will tackle in the new upcoming Avatar series, as it would not only widen the potential of the Avatar world by presenting new interactions, motivations, fight styles, and even storytelling, but it could also give us a more in-depth look at the spirit world and the secret fifth nation, how they came to be about, their culture, and why they could be brought into the story now of all time, revealing themselves to the other four nations, and the type of backlash that could bring about. Honestly, I think I'm cooking here, and I believe I'm right. The creators of Avatar even released a fifth symbol, which is supposed to symbolize the four elements mixing together. But if you reverse that idea, it would represent the four elements coming from this original source. The original element now made the fifth element, aka energy. As for what energy benders can do and what the secret fifth nation, the energy colony, could be like, now the energy colony is a nation made up of mainly energy benders. And the only reason we haven't heard nor seen them in the history of the Avatar world is because they reside hidden in secrecy in the spirit world, mainly utilizing their energy bending to make hostile spirits docile. There is a lot of other things with this ability that they will be capable of doing. But before we get right into it, please like, share, subscribe, and follow on all platforms, not just YouTube, but including TikTok and Twitter. And also comment down below your thoughts on what other things energy benders will be capable of, if not mentioned in this video. So, first thing up is how energy benders would fight. We've all seen with the other four elements that they have pretty unique ways of combating their enemies and opponents when in battle, with firebenders mainly blasting people, waterbenders trying to freeze them, airbenders using their air abilities to evade people, and earthbenders trying to crush people with earth. And with their various subbending powers and abilities, it allows them to be very versatile when it comes to combat. But what would energy benders be able to do in fights, since from the little we've seen, they've mainly used their abilities to manipulate spirit energy or seal or unseal bending? Well, that trick to manipulate spirit energy could prove to be very vital in fights, since, as we know, the Avatar world is filled to the brim with spirits. And having them live in the spirit world could have the spirits act as their unlimited resource as well as arsenal. And spirits can be very formidable against any type of person, including benders, as there are various types of spirits with varying amount of powers, with some spirits being weak and other spirits being very strong and powerful. And energy benders, through energy bending, can manipulate all types of spirits, with a few being way too powerful to control, but that doesn't matter because there are a surplus of weaker ones they could use. And I can see energy benders utilizing those spirits in a variety of different ways, similar to how benders use the elements, like for not just combat or defense purposes, but to also be able to use for transportation or to sneak and gather intel from enemy territories. Like example being, if you can energy bend the size and shape of large spirits into small glowing orbs that float around you. and needed to travel somewhere far, or was getting into a scrap with a bunch of thieves or soldiers, benders or not, then you could simply just reverse that process, allowing those floating, glowing orbs to regain their large spirit forms and attack your enemies, or you can just get on their backs and have them carry you to your destination. And you could have a bunch of these, as I would call them, spirit orbs, floating around your person, acting as basically your guardian spirits, whether they be large spirit bears, spirit birds, or even spirit snakes. But knowing the Avatar world, they'll probably be a mixed breed of various animals as spirits. And it'd be awesome if through energy bending you could control these spirit orbs, so even without having them return to their original form, you could hit someone with these spirit orbs and it would have the same impact as if they were hit by a really hard brick, which could allow energy benders to develop their own bending fight style without having to solely rely on spirits fighting their battles for them. And with controlling spirits, it sounds very similar to spirit bending, but spirit bending was developed by water benders to manipulate the energy within spirits to turn them from light to dark and vice versa. But energy benders can literally bend spirit energy the way they can do the same with life energy in general, which is why they would be able to control spirits which are made out of spirit energy the way benders control the elements. And another cool trick that energy benders could be capable of doing, which could be like a sub-bending skill for them, is something I like to call energy boosts. And through energy boosts, an energy bender could basically enhance their body's capabilities to peak levels and even further, allowing them to move at speeds and fight with strength that are considered superhuman, that even the best non-bender fighters can't keep up with. And when you add all of this with the known ability to permanently take away bending, even chi blockers would see these guys as an impressive lethal threat. But we're not stopping there, as there is one more thing I would like to get into with energy benders. And that is their overall ability to manipulate both life and spirit energy. Because through energy bending, energy benders would be able to control a lot of things in the spirit world in addition to the spirits, as the spirit world is created from condensed spirit energy. And with that in mind, that is how they would have been able to get their hidden territory in the spirit world and sustain their long-lived energy colony. I imagine they would have created a huge energy dome around their settlement, keeping away the surplus amount of spirits while they were building their energy colony city. And once it was finished, allowing the spirits to come through, finding various ways to coexist with them, and capture any wandering humans that would have found their way into the spirit world and toss them into the fog of lost souls to keep their existence a secret. And I could see the energy colonists modeling their newly formed culture around the lion turtles, like having a lot of lion turtle iconography in their art, clothing style, and even statues and buildings, as lion turtles were not just the very first energy benders, but also were the ones to grant them the ability and knowledge to bend energy. And I could see the creators of Avatar weaving in the energy colonists into the overall story of Avatar by having them invade and attack the human world, seeing them as a threat they can no longer ignore, having it be revealed that they left the human world for the spirit world once they gained energy bending, as they could no longer stomach all the never-ending conflict and wars even with the Avatar's existence. But once the events in Korra's era took place regarding to the new harmonic convergence that nearly plunged the spirit world with dark spirits thanks to Unalaq and Vaatu, and with the stuff that took place afterwards with Avatar Korra not just leaving the spirit gate open, but then creating another new one, allowing humans to move freely from the human world to the spirit world, putting their peaceful secret existence in jeopardy, the energy colony realized they had no other choice but to invade and destroy the other four nations. Not to move back to the human world, but to no longer have fear of the people and benders there moving to the spirit world and conquering it, which could be an awesome plot for a book 1 or book 2 season of the next Avatar series, which could have the next new Avatar realize themselves that there's not just 4 elements they need to master, but 5 if they're going to bring peace and balance to not just 4 nations, but 5. And finally, with what can make this iteration so dope is that with Aang passing energy bending to Korra, who passed it on to this new Avatar, and with Korra rebooting the Avatar cycle, is that After Earth, the new avatar could be born into the energy colony. If you liked everything I've had to say, then please like, share, subscribe, and follow, and stay great.